Today, we're going to talk about mind to matter, radiant health. How do you gain radiant health? Of course, the principle is very, very common. At the grossest level, thoughts create reality. So we gain even that. We gain even health, radiant health. But let's understand this a little more scientifically today. Because of whatever various conditioning, various could be self-inflicted thought process or whatever, was not able to do any work for ourselves. Health was deteriorating, was mostly chair bound. I used to have this fear of flying because when I fly, I used to have my ears get blocked, but then they would not get unblocked when the flight comes down. Or if I travel up the hill and then I come down, my ears get blocked, but they don't get unblocked. And they don't get unblocked, it translates to a throbbing pain. The pain gradually increases by the hour. If you come down by, say, evening 4 o'clock, the pain used to increase quite a bit, throbbing pain. By the time I sleep, it was very, very painful. It used to be very painful. So I used to slowly, I started pulling myself back because I started believing so strongly that if I fly, it's going to happen. And then there, like in all the three cases, in my case, two cases, in my case also, the current system of medicine suggested that I should be taking certain medication before and after flying immediately for 3 days before, 3 days after, and during the flight. But then after 3 or 4 months of meditation, again, very miraculously, this condition has disappeared for me 99%. I freely fly and then come down. I freely go up the mountains and come down. What changed, dear friends, in all of this? And then I'm sure many of you who have been regularly practicing meditation have your own story. But the only underlying thing that changed in all of this, dear friends, is our thought process. We are changing our energy fields. What changes is our thought process, our mindset changes. And then so as a result, we're changing our energy fields. Mind to matter is saying that our mind, which is producing these wonderful thoughts, conscious and unconscious, subconscious thoughts, is the fundamental reason for our health. So in all the three cases, from a few days to few months, what has been believed that, okay, now I'm at this age, so I have to go through this condition. So it's not going to happen. So I just have to be more and more dependent on people, more and more chair bound. My eyesight is going, it's gone. So now I anyway already resigned to the job because we're already working, living off the past. And so make certain decisions which reinforces. So we are accepting that. So that's what I was doing too. More or less, I called off many, many travels and then many fun trips because I wanted to travel always and camp in area peaks. I used to do a lot of camping. But then for a period of time, I slowly reduced. But magically, when we change our mindset, when we change our thought process, then we are changing various energy fields around our body. We are changing the energy fields, and then science has discovered that our emotions, our feelings that we have formed for ourselves, which are driven through our belief system, are causing an energy or a signal which is energy is signal or a signal which is low and negative, and as a result, it is going in and then impacting our body's cell processes to work for the health or work against the health. So it's a fundamental discovery by the science that our thought process, there are two levels of emotions, higher emotions and lower emotions. That discovery by the science is that when you are in these lower emotions, which are competing, which are frustration, anger, feeling low, lack of self-love, feeling unworthy, guilty, when we have, and then feeling of loss, separation, these are all are lower emotion. Science has discovered that when we carry ourselves in these lower emotions, then we are interfering. We are sending, we're creating an energy field which is of low frequency, which is sending a signal to the cells in the body, which are then stop working because they receive a signal which is saying that I want to feel this way. And if in order for you to feel this way, then you have to stop working. If I feel that, okay, my body has to continue to be in an angry state, my body has to be continue to be in a lack of love state where I feel miserable, I feel bad about myself because somebody said something to me, then the body has to produce certain different type of chemicals, the stress hormones, the stress chemicals. So it produces more of those, and then it does not produce things that are required for the body to be functioning healthy. So in all the cases, and then in several cases of many of you too, that when our thought process changes, then our health is changing. Of course, our relationships are changing and everything else is changing. Everything else that we experience in life, health is one fundamental thing we experience. All our experience of life are changing. So we understand that the quantum physics has proven that everything is energy. Everything is energy out there. We are fully energy. Deep inside, at subatomic particle level, we are energy. So when we are energy at that level, subatomic particle level, including what we think is matter, is all energy, is just waves of energy. That energy, which is carrying information, because energy is waves, and then it's carrying information which is influenced by thought. That is the first thing that quantum physics came to an understanding. That energy is influenced by thought. And so whatever thoughts we think and feel is what it is causing. What is think and feel is what is being created, because the thoughts are being carried out in that energy field. Now energy is translating to matter. Some invisible force is changing how energy is becoming matter. All we know is that when you lower the frequency of that into a point where we can perceive it, with our sensory perceptions, we can perceive it. So as you lower the frequency of the matter, so then it collapses. But where the energy to matter, so because we are wishing as a consciousness to see something or experience something, and actually that is lowering, condensed form of energy, lowered energy, and becomes matter. But everything is happening through a thought and feeling, because quantum physics also now very squarely saying that everything is energy, including ourselves. And then so then that energy is becoming matter through our attention. Now, what is happening to this attention? This attention is nothing but our thought, our awareness, our thought and the feeling that we have. Thoughts produce electrical signals, and then our feelings produce electrical magnetic signals both. So we understand our mind has several neural networks. Now there is concept of neurons in that neural networks. They are just nothing but cells in the body. And so these neurons are coming together and joining, coming together and then forming a connection. And so every time we experience something, every time we learn something, every time we recall something, so you are learning right now something. So you're forming a set of connections. The neurons, which are in billions in our brain, are coming together to form a connection to remember that, whatever that we're learning. And so when we repeat it, more neurons come together and then strengthen that memory. Then later, when you recall it, you don't see this video again, but then you sit down and contemplate and say, what was Chandra saying? Recall it. Then you're strengthening it again. That connection. I'm going to come to it. And what does that do with energy? So you're strengthening that again by thinking about it, by recollecting those thoughts of information that are coming. Now, part of this, if you felt really great about the experience of all three of us, whether Saralaji or the Nilimaji or myself, healing ourselves, and if you felt great and said, yes, I also can heal myself, and you felt great and you have an experience of feeling, and then you're going to recollect that too. And so you have that feeling, so you remember that feeling. And so even that time, whenever I recall those emotions of feeling that associate with us, with an experience, with a thought, then we recollect them, and then those cells come together, the neurons come together, and they become more stronger. Now, every time they come together means, dear friends, they're firing a little tiny bit of electricity. They're finding an electric pulse there. When these neurons come together, they fire an electric pulse. So an electrical pulse, electrical charge is exchanged between one to the other. And so that electricity, that electrical charge is produced, creates an energy field. We know that wherever there is electricity, there is an energy field. So electrical energy. And when an energy passes through this body's neural networks like a magnet, so that when energy is passing through in a conductor, so there is a magnetic energy produced. So our body, as the energy, electrical energy is passing through it, the body is producing magnetic energy. So that's how we have an electromagnetic energy around our body. So science is saying clearly that all of us have an energy field around our body. So I have an energy field, you have an energy field. And so these energy fields, which were in the spiritual sense parlance was called aura, that everybody carries an aura. And then the energy fields are extending to up to 5-6 meters around a person, depending on how your condition is. So these energy fields are produced through this various thought process in our brains. Because of these neurons coming together, is forming an energy field around us. So you're recollecting a past experience of losing somebody. You think about it, you feel bad about it. You recollect that you lost a job, you feel bad about it. You made a very bad decision in business, you feel bad about it. You feel angry with yourself. You recollect the comments made by people to you, and you feel even more miserable. Now, when we're doing it, dear friend, then there's a level of electricity produced. We are producing an energy field around us, which is very low in vibration. When we have those, we're producing an energy field around us, low in vibration. We're exactly setting that as a signal, because that information being carried in that time in that field is about feeling miserable, feeling bad, feeling angry, frustrated, or feeling sad. That is the energy that we're producing in the field. Now, guess what? So when we are in contact with people, these emotions that are there in that energy field is naturally rubbing onto the others around us because the frequencies match. The frequency emotion of the frequency of a energy emotion of a misery or a frustration match, and then as they go, and then the other side are also have any kind of that kind of frequencies in their energy fields, then a match, then they amplify. On the other hand, if we have an energy field that we produce based on we are in a compassionate state, we are not bothered about these at all. You are accepting a failure, you're accepting a poor business decision and said, okay, that's fine, it's moved. Instead, you're focused on something that you want to really experience, of creating a new business or going out and helping people, of doing gardening where you feel one with that thing, that oneness, or you're cooking and then you feel happy that you're able to actually do something better for yourself. So you naturally feel happy. So when you have these emotions, so they are producing a high vibration. So your energy field is full of high vibration of those emotions. So now when these energy fields are influencing people around us, but the energy fields are also influencing our body significantly. Same. They've done an experimentation. You know, the water experiment that we all know that if you talk to water and say, I love you, very simple. When you talk to water and say, I love you, the water molecules organize into beautiful crystals, very perfect geometric patterns like mandalas. So when our energy fields, so that experimentation where they made different students hold the water, a glass of water, and they took a drop from that and then started measuring how is the water molecule looking just by holding it, because that water is in the energy field of that person. And they found a distinct signature for each and every student. And some people, it is beautifully crystals, nice, beautiful forms. For some, it's totally broken. The pattern is completely broken. So this water, 70% of body is water. And so if depending on our energy field, the water gets organized beautifully, depending on how we think and feel in a body, 70% of the body can become easily better if the water gets organized perfectly. Coherence, it's called coherence. If it comes into coherence completely, then automatically it is doing its job in the body. So 70% of body gets naturally better if we are, because they found that the water is just organizing depending on the type of energy that we carry in the field. And it is only clearly different by two different things. One is higher emotion, second is lower emotion. How you think and feel. The water gets influenced. And then similarly, dear friends, when our thoughts are sending the signal, depending on what emotional signature that electric pulse is carrying, and as it goes through the neural networks, our glands produce certain types of enzymes depending on what you send. Now the cells have the cell membranes. The cell membranes is where they have receptors for receiving information through its environment. So our body has trillions of cells and all of them have the receptors. So they receive information through the environment. Now environment is this energy field, just like water is receiving it. So all cells are also from the energy field receiving the signal. The signal says that I'm stressed, I feel bad, I'm lost, I don't belong here, people don't like me. And then as a result, you're producing certain emotions. So that is the emotion is going. So when people say people don't like me, you don't feel really good at all in the body. You do many things. So it is going down to shut off. That signal is received by the cells and says, okay, I have to feel bad. I have to be in a state which helps my master, my body to be in that state. So it has to shut off rather than actually work very well. It's called epigenetics. So that energy field that we carry is influencing the body's water, influencing, of course, the every cell is functioning. When I changed my state at that time, where I was for over 4 years, I went and visited many doctors, and then so all of them said, there's no cure. It is my bent nasal canal decongestion does not happen fast, and so you got to take decongestion tablets and nasal sprays. So it is repeated. It was repeated such as strongly as a belief to me, then I believed it. So when I start believing it, and then I start projecting and say, next time I do a flight, oh my God, so this time how difficult it's going to be, how much pain it's going to be. As I start believing, I project it, my energy field is exactly that, how much pain it's going to be. So the cells are responding and saying, okay, so more pain has to be produced, right? So more pain means less serotonin. So naturally, that less serotonin chemical, because the pain is felt here in the brain when you have less and less serotonin. Serotonin makes us calm. There is also another pain chemical. So there's the two chemicals now have to be less produced. That means the cells that produce it have to shut off. They have to shut off because that is the signal that I must have been carrying. And so then more pain is felt. So the thought process from before, where if I'm chair bound and then I say, I'm like this and I have to take help. Oh my God, so something is happening. So I can't do it. So I have to take help is how you do. So then you're reinforcing because of the energy field, reinforcing to the cells to be the exactly create more of that situation. Because I say, I can't move. It is tough for me. And so when you say that I can't move, so whatever that is making your body move, now that has to work against you because you're telling I can't move. And so those cells have to shut off and then they will not produce that. So naturally you feel less movement in your body more. And so that's what is happening. And then, dear friends, for most of us, when we change our thought process and say, I am healthy, I am actually getting up and then walking, I'm doing my work, my body is healing itself. When we say this affirmatively to ourselves, and then we do not repeat what is already programmed of the past, then we are able to then change our energy field signature completely. And the cells which are constantly receiving on the cell membrane, so they receive a new signal, and so they go and then now work towards upregulating the genes. Science thought that one gene equal to one protein. The genes, when they work, then they produce a protein, right? And the protein is the one which is required to ultimately to build this whole thing and then make it running. The proteins will go to replicate the cells or convert a stem cell into the normal cell. Many things are happening, right? So the proteins are required. They thought one gene equal to one protein because they thought genes will express one protein. But guess what? These genes, spiritual sense always said it. We are at 12. We are an extraordinary being. We are not the genes, basically we can produce anything, we can heal anything. They always said that. Now the genes, one gene equal to one protein is all it can create, is what they thought. But then when they did this research, it's called that Human Genome Project, they found that there are 23,000 genes only they found, but they found 100,000 plus proteins that body is producing, somewhere in 120,000. So they thought they'd actually find 120,000 plus genes, but they only found 23,000. So they were baffled. That means a gene is not producing one, it can produce many different. How is it doing? It is doing this process of it is receiving the signal from this energy field of cell membrane, dear friends. In the experimentation where they cut the cell membrane, cell immediately died. Where they removed the nucleus where the actually DNA is there, which is producing the nucleus with the center, normally we think it's got the real life ray, right? When they removed the nucleus, it did not die. But when they cut the cell membrane, cells started dying, regenerating pretty quickly. So they discovered that through epigenetics, the cell membranes have the receptors to constantly tuning into the energy field to receive the right vibration frequency to go and then do their corresponding chemical work. So one gene is producing multiple proteins, and then how is it doing? The same gene is producing, depending on your thought, right, to make your arms move or legs move or a body move or not move by sending the corresponding, either shutting off or producing more of the protein for it to go and then build more capacity, simply by this energy field that we have, dear friends. Many people, very healthy people, because they have a loss in their family, then we are constantly keeping our energy field in that very low negative vibration. And as a result, we are sending that signal to the body to feel more miserable, feel more bad. My life is a waste. I can't. There's no point. If my son is not there anymore, my life is, what's the point? Who's going to take care of me in my old age? Nobody is there for me. I do these things in order to make them true. The body has to work. So many times people get paralysis because their life is a waste. So what will you do? Do nothing. So they translate into paralysis. Our thoughts create reality. From quantum physics is proving, of course, that whatever you observe is created using the double slit experimentation. During the double slit experimentation, when they sent electrons, they found that electrons are mass, particles. So you wanted them to be in a single band. When you're sending straight, you're sending through a machine gun, and that should be in a single band. The electrons are forming multiple bands. And when you put an observer and said, I'm sending electrons, which are particles, so they started forming a single band. And so this experimentation, quantum physics, again and again proven that our observation is creating a material reality. And so that exact same principle is working in our body. And this, with the advent of epigenetics, with the advent of various research, it's proven that every time we have a thought which is positive or in a way that we want it, so we are creating it. We are making it happen. But we need to have patience, perseverance. We need to have patience and perseverance, because this process, especially body health, is a process. It takes time to regenerate itself. Certain areas are regenerating pretty quickly. many things which we do not bother about, like our internal lining. We don't know how it generates. Some of them generate quickly. Internal intestine lining is only taking 5 days to regenerate. 10% of the skeleton is regenerating once in a year. But certain cells are not regenerating for a long time. We don't know why it happens. But then when these cells are constantly regenerating that quickly, liver getting regenerated 3 months. So if there's certain parts and many parts of the body are regenerating that quickly, and so we have an opportunity when we change our energy field, and as the cells come formed, and they can get influenced to your new signal, not the old anymore. Even if you have ill health, one, you can elevate your energy so that the existing cells can start upregulating. But then if the existing cells have taken a deep memory of it and then already damaged enough, but then you have new cells, so you have an opportunity to plant and program something totally different. So the fundamental thing, dear friends, is mind to matter means, and it's purely about our what kind of thoughts we carry, what kind of feelings we carry. Everything boils down to that, nothing else. When we have these negative thoughts, fundamentally, negative feelings are the feelings are low feelings, constant worry, constant fear. The fear is what? Fear is about fear of survival, fear of death, fear of losing, fear of looking bad among people. We don't take a lot of times initiatives because we feel that people will judge us. Fear of looking bad. We have certain element of our own ego that is held onto it, and there are internal image. And so we hold on to it internally, externally. And so we don't want to take initiatives because if that fails, so what do people think of me? So there are a lot of fears that we carry, and so it is producing low vibration. Now, anything that you worry about too much, it produces a low vibration. For example, if you have a presentation to be done to your senior management 10 days later, and then you have this feeling that, okay, you cannot perform well because you can't, in a tough situation, I don't know, where senior people are there and a large gathering is there, then you cannot do well. That's the biggest challenge for students, right? In exam time, it's a compressed time, limited time, so they feel stressed out. So now what is stress? Now, in 10 days later is this meeting, but we start worrying about it from now. Oh, it's coming. So what do I do? Will I perform well or not? Oh man, last time it didn't go well. My colleague did this, it didn't go well. So this guy's made some comments. So is it going to happen for me well or not? We make this constant chatter. And then so in 10 days, we build up again and again. We think about, worry about it. We're anxious about it. So what's happening? Go back to the original neuroscience of brain. And so now we're repeating and repeating. So we're strengthening. We're producing more of that negative low frequency energy. Energy is signal has a frequency, so we're producing more of it, but then low frequency energy. So our energy field is full of constant anxiety and worries. So the body has to work to produce more, or rather less, of these feel-good chemicals. It has to shut off the feel-good chemicals less and less so that you feel more anxious. It has to do that because the feeling is expressed there. So when you are more anxious, and of course, in order to keep you alert about this situation, because body is moving into fight and flight mode, and as a result, that is a stress where we are repeating things that have happened and about to happen again and again. And so that negative emotion where you're feeling stress means you got to keep body very highly alert, because you go into survival mode. In case certain things did not go right, you need to exit from that place, fly away, it's called. Or you prepare yourself. When you're in anxious mode, you're preparing your survival. You're thinking, if somebody's going to make a nasty comment to me, I'm going to give it back to them. You think that way. So that is like a fighting mode. So you actually start imagining many sequences. Or if somebody's going to say many things, and if I don't go well, then I'm just going to sit quietly and then just stop my presentation. So all kinds of thoughts we project. So fight or flight mode, in order to move you into that state of runaway mode, or fight mode, our body moves into stress state. So it produces a lot of opposite chemicals. Cells that shut off do not produce the feel-good chemicals like the dopamine. Instead, they produce the opposite chemicals, the stress chemicals like this cortisol. They go into the body. When the stress chemicals like cortisol go into the body, we know that when the stress chemical is there in the body, the cortisol's function is to keep you highly alert. So first thing is we lose sleep, is keep you highly alert. So we lose sleep immediately. Many people cannot sleep because they carry the stress internally and externally through a very past belief. Somewhere deep inside, worry is there. So sleep is not there, and many functions of the body do not work well because cortisol has that effect with several other stress chemicals. It has to keep the body in highly alert, so it has to pump extra blood to the legs and hands, and as a result, it is shutting off many systems to not function well. So our the entire intestine may not work well, our heartburns, and many things that keep happening. Headaches, migraine headaches, our functioning is not good, our mental health is not good because this system is shut off here when you're stressed. So dear friends, so mind to matter is about changing our thought process. Simple. Constantly examining our thoughts regularly, constantly looking into the what beliefs am I forming? Where is my thought? Am I anxious about something? Why? And then how do we do it? How do you stay alert? And then examining that. So, dear friends, meditation is the fundamental answer to this. When we have these past beliefs that we all are carrying, everybody carries a whole set of past beliefs, and then we constantly form new beliefs. For 3 days, if certain things didn't happen, it becomes a belief, right? And we conclude, we judge, we may assert conclusions, judgments, assertions, assumptions, they're all beliefs. We keep forming them. So now meditation is helping us to not look into past that has happened. Because meditation is to empty your mind and then slowly remove all unwanted thought. There is this consciousness, which is our super intelligence, is always helping us and saying, what is necessary. So meditation has this beautiful ability to not bring up the unwanted thoughts for us. So things that have happened, Gatam Gataha, it's happened, it's gone. Gatam Gataha, it's gone, right? So we don't need to go back. And so meditation helps us to not recollect any of the past beliefs, past thoughts, or memories, past events. And the science is proving that now in under 3 weeks, if you stop firing the old thoughts, then slowly the brain neural networks start reshaping that into somewhere else. It reuses the resource. Neural networks are resources, right? Neurons. And so if you have formed a set of memories of past, and if you don't fire them for 3 weeks, and then it starts reshaping, you start pulling that, dismantling it, and taking it and then using it somewhere else. So when meditation is helping us to not fire our old beliefs and old memories and thoughts and stuff that is unwanted and anything fearful, worrisome, because the consciousness is constantly looking and saying, this person needs to be helped. This person wants to experience life, get better. So get better so that they can experience life more in a better way. So automatically all these unwanted thoughts are slowly go away. So meditation has this beautiful thing that is one, these unwanted memories are slowly not come up to us because it keeps us in the present moment. Meditation keeps the present moment. And so that is the first step. So in order to experience great health, first step is to meditate so that we stop firing the old circuits, old thoughts. Then the second thing in order to be able to go into a very positive way that you want to create life is to now learn more things. Is to first set a goal. You got to set a goal for yourself. You got to have an intention, goal or intention, what you call. We got to have solid intentions of what we want to be. Because again, when we have a solid intention, the seat of the brain, the CEO of the brain, the conscious brain is driving our infinite power of the mind towards that. It is trying to pull all the memories around it, and so it wants to help you. So first we got to set strong intentions. Those who do not have intentions, life is going on, and just time goes by, energy goes by. So we have to have, if we set clear intentions, then we're channelizing all that energy. There is a lot of energy that gets stuck when we have these older, low memories. And then all that energy gets liberated. Meditation, we channelize all that energy, number one. We channelize the information in our brains towards that goal. So we have solid intentions. I am healthy. I'm getting better. I'm going and helping these 10,000 people. I'm changing my job with a 100% increment. I'm starting my business and it's going to be impacting, this whole community of people in this district. So when we set a clear intentions, and then understand the brain is learning. So when you send a clear intention with a lot of feeling, you feel that it's true. You really feel it is true because the more you can feel with your intention about your goal, the more you can dream. So that's the second step, having a clear intention and then dreaming and visualizing about it is an important element. Very simple. We meditate. We have a set clear intentions. We dream about it constantly. We dream about our health. We dream about health for what? When you gain beautiful health, like Saradaji said, I'm doing my work, everything. That is the experience is short. I'm doing my work. I'm on my own. I can get up and walk and do this. When you set your intention, when you seek an experience based on an intention, that I'm healthy to do what? I'm healthy to do my works. I'm healthy to go and then do whatever that in the past I used to call people because I have a lot of energy. So it's not that experience. So we set an intention. We got to visualize and dream about that. When we visualize and dream about those experiences of that intention, then we are increasing the vibration. So when we visualize and dream with all belief, with that same emotion that you otherwise have it as if it's happened for you in your life. So if Saradaji visualize, and in those days, I use meditation to not feel about it. So that is good enough. If I have my pain, I use meditation. I am meditating automatically. I stopped recollecting the old memory. And then because I learned this, you heal yourself by constantly thinking about yourself, right? So having a good experience, like I'm good, I'm healthy, the pain is not there, I'm having a beautiful flight. So think about that is sufficient. So visualize with an emotion. So setting an intention, visualizing with an emotion as if that's happening for you, and then expressing gratitude, dear friends. Gratitude as if the future is happening for you. If you do these three things, meditate, then you visualize during the day, after meditation, I don't know, 2-3 times in a day, You visualize and dream about it, your experience of having that intention in your life, and then express gratitude. So gratitude means, when do you express gratitude? We express gratitude when something happened. Somebody helps and say thank you. We had an experience, good experience, right? And so we say thank you. So we say the same gratitude, because when you express gratitude, then you're reinforcing, express gratitude for a new future, as if it has happened. You're reinforcing into your brain that it has already happened. So you are producing, when you're reinforcing your brain that has already happened, so you are programming with more and more of those thoughts, because that's what you're repeating. And so then the brain automatically is feeling that it has already happened, so it produces more of the same. What is stronger in the brain is what gets projected more. Say for negative experiences stronger, they get projected more. So meditation is subduing them, and then here with an intention and goal, then we are dreaming, so it is making it stronger. Gratitude making it stronger, because gratitude means you really believe it is true. So expressing gratitude, and so that becomes stronger, and as a result, that projects for us constantly in our energy field. When it's there in the energy field, then it has to translate into a physical body over a period of time. Our physical body's illness can be found in the energy field 6 months to 1 year before. 6 months to 1 year before, one can find the illness that is going to happen in the physical body in the energy field. They've done these measurements always. They've done these measurements for a cancer patient group of women they've taken. And so when they've done that experiment, people who have already cancer, then physically they exhibited that behavior. But they've taken a group of healthy women who did not have cancer. So physically, when they're testing, it's not there. The cells, there's no cells. But however, they measured the energy field, it is exhibiting a frequency of the same cancer cells there in the energy field. Now they waited. So they knew something is there. In a few months later, these same women who otherwise are healthy actually developed cancer. So the energy field, there's a lot of work is going on where you can measure the energy fields and all that to get to know. But we don't have to do that. All we have to do is to change the vibration of the energy field difference by meditation, and then by setting clear intentions, visualizing and dreaming about them, and expressing gratitude. If we do this process, everybody absolutely gains a perfect radiant health, like Saraji, like myself, like many of you who have been doing it. When we have intentions and when we meditate, consciousness that we experience is always helping, is always paying attention to what we are seeking, and is always helping. And we stumble upon many things. So in order to increase our understanding, to changing our thought, increase our understanding, we must read, we must learn, and any amount of explanation is insufficient for these two books, You Are the Placebo and Mind to Matter. There are many, many books out there. Many people have written, but these two books incredibly explain this whole mind to matter and how thoughts create reality. Very, very beautifully. These have to be read, dear friends. If you're serious about exploring ourselves, these books have to be read in some way or the other. And so here is an opportunity. So thank you very much, dear friends.